Welcome back to Big Nick's Meats and Treats. I'm going to do something special today. I've never made sausage before. I've always made pepperoni. When I made pepperoni, I always used the High Mountain seasoning stuff that came with the casings and the cure and all the seasonings and stuff, and it always came out great. But today I'm going to make jalapeno and cheddar smoked sausage. So I've never done it before. It's going to be a big experiment for me and an experiment for you too. So I'm going to do brisket, pork butt, and trimmings off of a ribeye steak that I did, that I kept this. I was going to use it for pepperoni, so it should be about 50% pork, 50% beef, and I'm going to shoot for about 20 pounds. So let me get these packages open and we'll get at it. Welcome back. I have a 9-pound boneless pork shoulder that I got. I took 7 pounds and 8 ounces off the brisket that I have, and I had 2 pounds and 8 ounces of ribeye trimmings that I had here. I think that's right. It's a total of 20 pounds and 5 ounces of meat. And when you're getting this ready to go in the meat grinder, you want to make sure it's cold. Like I had this in the freezer for about a half hour. When I get done cubing this up, I'll probably put it back in the freezer for another half hour or so before we put it in the grinder. So make sure you have a sharp knife, and you're just going to cube all this up. You want to get this in size pieces that will go into your meat grinder. Don't worry about trimming the fat cap or anything like that, because you want that high fat content. So I'm going to end up with about a pound more beef than I have pork here, which is fine. I mean, I was shooting for 50-50, but I think we'll be fine. Cube this up. I'll do the same thing with the beef. We'll get that in there. That'll be a good mixture of pork and beef. Same thing with the beef. I'm going to leave the fat on it because I want that. I don't want dry sausage. So you want to keep as much fat on there as possible. I'm going to go ahead and cube all this up. We'll get this ready to go, and I'll be back with you in a little bit. All right, I got all the meat cubed up. I put it back in the fridge for about 20 minutes to get it chilled. Before I put the spices on the meat, I'm going to get my casings rinsed. I ordered these off Amazon, Oversea Casing Company. They had good reviews on Amazon. The directions on the package just say to rinse them in cool water. I don't have any idea how many casings it's going to take to do this. They're packaged in salt. So we got to get them in there and let them rinse. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that in there while I add the seasonings to the meat. All right, I got the casings soaking in water. Now I'm going to do the seasonings. And one of the reasons I weighed out the meat so carefully is all the videos I watched on the internet, and there were a lot of them. Special thanks to Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. I watched all his sausage videos. Your ratio of spices depends on the weight of your meat. So you got to have a good food scale to be able to weigh everything out. And most of the videos I saw said about 1.5% of the total weight of the meat should be what your salt intake is. So I did 138 grams of salt, kosher salt. I'm quasi guessing on the ratios of all the other spices just based on how much salt I put in there. So I'm doing 55 grains of coarse ground black pepper, 40 grains of paprika. I just did regular paprika. In a future video, I might mess with a mix of regular paprika and smoked paprika. And then I did 24 grams of turmeric. That's going to give it a real nice color. And then I did 10 grams of cayenne. I would probably do more if it was just me, but the assistant commander here at Big Nick's Meats and Treats doesn't like super spicy. So now I'm going to take all this and pour it over the meat. And then I'm going to just work this in. I'm going to get it all the meat nice and covered, and then I'm going to put it back in the fridge or the freezer. I don't have enough room in my freezer. Unfortunately, I have so much stuff out there. And then I'm going to let it get cold again before I put it through the grinder. All right, that looks like it's covering good. Okay, I'm gonna get this put back in the fridge. I'm gonna let it chill again. Then we'll get the meat grinder set up and we'll get to grinding. All right, I think we're ready to start grinding. A couple things, make sure your meat's cold. And I took all the grinding parts of the grinder and put them in the freezer for a couple hours to get it nice and cold. If you don't do that, the fat in your meat will just turn to gum in there and it won't grind very well. So let's get this going here and get grinding. I'm using the big blade on the grinder. I think it's 10 millimeter. There we go. I'll probably end up having to put the small blade on here and get a finer grind. All right, I'm gonna keep at this, get this done, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, I got the first grind done. It's pretty thick, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a second grind on it. I think in the earlier video, I said something about a big blade or small blade. What I meant to say is plate. So this is the big plate. I think it's about 10 millimeters. I have the small one in here now. I think that's about 4. So that'll give us a finer grind. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this going here. And I also put the meat back in the fridge and put the grinder parts back in the fridge too. Or in the freezer, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, that's gonna give us a much finer grind. Yeah, I like the way that's coming out. Yeah, that's real nice and fine. That's gonna give us a nice, firm sausage. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and work on this. Probably take me a half hour, and we'll see in a bit. All right, I got that second grind done, and I really like the way that came out. Now, the next thing I need to do is I'm gonna add about 1.5 cups of water. I put some ice cubes in there too, because you wanna keep this cold. And my high temperature cheddar cheese. This is 1 pound, and the instructions say you can do 1 pound for 20 pounds of meat. So I'm gonna go ahead and work that in by hand. The good thing about the high temp cheddar is it doesn't melt as easy, so when you are cooking the sausage, it doesn't become all ooey gooey. I'm not gonna put the jalapenos in just yet because I wanna cook up a patty and see how this tastes. And I might separate some out and do some without jalapenos, so the assistant commander is happy. She's not a big fan of the jalapenos. Yeah, that's nice and sticky. You want it to be able to stick like that and not fall down. I like that. I like the consistency of that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make myself up a patty. I'll probably just do a little bit like here. Make a little patty, cook that up, see if I like the seasonings and see if I need to add anything before I actually go ahead and stuff the sausage. So I'll see you in a sec. All right, I'm ready to taste this patty. I forgot to show you, I ordered this high temp cheese off Amazon as well. It was from the sausage maker. I ordered a 1 pound package, and they recommend that will go with 20 pounds of meat. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this out. It's good. It's not spicy yet because I don't have any jalapenos in there, but it definitely tastes like sausage. It's really good. So I think I'm gonna run with that. I'm gonna get the jalapenos chopped up and I'll show you putting that in, and then we'll get them stuffed. See you in a bit. All right, we're getting close. I added another 1/4 cup of water just to put a little bit of moisture in there. The sausage tasted really good. The assistant commander really liked it. So I took a jar, 29-ounce jar of pickled jalapenos. I wanted to do that to get a little extra flavor. And then I put them in my salsa maker and got a real fine dice on them, and I ended up with 13 ounces of jalapenos. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. Oh, looks like there's a big one in there. Okay, and then I'm gonna work that into the meat. That's gonna give this a great flavor. And the assistant commander is gonna love it. I know it. And the whole time I'm doing this, I've been chilling the meat in between too, to try to keep that meat as cold as possible. And I have my sausage stuffer. I have it in the freezer right now, getting cold. I'll keep working this in. I'm really liking how tacky that is. That's good. I'm gonna put this back in the refrigerator, let it chill for another 20 minutes to 30 minutes, and I'll get the sausage stuffer set up and we'll start stuffing. See you in a bit. We're finally ready to stuff the sausage. I took the stuffer canister out of the freezer, and now I'm gonna pack it full of meat. And when you do that, you wanna make sure you don't have any air pockets in there, so you wanna pack it down real tight in there. It's been a long time since I used this one. I can't remember how much it holds. I wanna say 5 pounds or something like that. So I'm gonna pack it in there real tight. Okay. And I mounted the stuffer to the counter using construction tools. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, there we go. Okay. Now we're in. Okay. Now I'm going to put the piston down, and I'm going to get it to where the meat is coming right out to the end of the tube here. The stuffer came with 3 different size tubes. I wasn't sure which one to use, so I'm using the middle one. Okay, I'm getting it right down to the end of the tube here, and then I'm going to stop. And now we're going to go over to the casings. And from everything I've seen, these things are just a joy to work with. I say that facetiously. So you got to get the end of one open here. Oop, shoot. Okay, get the end of it here. Let's see if I can get this thing open. I'm gonna have to work it with my hands here a little bit. You got to get that end open and then try to get some water in there. You know what? I'm going to switch to some dry gloves and try this again. Be back in a second. All right, I tried managing these casings with gloves on, just couldn't do it. Gloves were slippery, casings were slippery. So I did it with my bare hands. I got the end open. And what you want to do here is get it open, get some water in there, and let that water, you can see the water going down in the casing. And you want that water to go all the way through the casing and come out the other end here. Nice. Okay. Now I'm going to take this casing and work it onto the tube. Oh, it looks like I got some sausage coming out already. Let's get this on here. And just gently slide that on there. When you're running the water through the casing, it also gives you an opportunity to see if there's any holes in the casing. So far, so good. This is going to be a long piece of sausage here. So I'm just sliding that up on all the way up on the tube. Because I had water in there, it's actually sliding on real easy. Now I'm going to take the end here. I'm going to tie a knot in the end. Nice. Okay, got that on. Now we're ready to start stuffing. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. I got a cookie sheet here instead of that other thing. Now I'm going to just slowly start putting pressure on this. You don't want to overstuff these. I kind of just control how fast the casing comes off the tube. You want full, but you don't want air pockets either. And you don't want to go too fast with the piston. Just nice steady pressure. Nice, slow and steady. And I'm not going to make this into links until I get the whole thing stuffed. So I'm just going to keep going at this until I get this stuffed, and then I'll wrap it into links. So I'll work on this for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to make links. See you in a bit. All right, I'm all done stuffing the sausages. It went pretty good. I had a couple of blowouts. Basically, you get to cranking too fast and then the casing pops. Not a big deal. You can cut it off, squeeze the sausage out, and tie another knot in there and just start over again. It's kind of tricky as far as the pace you go. You have to pace the crank reel carefully and let the casing go off at about the same pace to try to get full sausages. We got a ton of them in here. It came out pretty good. There's a few air pockets here and there, but not too bad. So as far as making links, basically I want to take about 6 inches, and I'm just going to kind of wiggle the meat in there with my fingers, and then I'm going to twist it about 3 times away from me. Do the same thing here. Maybe go a little bit farther, and this time I'm going to go the opposite way. Okay. Same thing here. Work it out, and now I'm going to go away. Here. Now towards me. Same thing here. Squeeze it. Just make sure you go the opposite direction every other link. And you just squeeze it out here. Let's see here. Try to split that direction. Okay. And this one, I think I'll just split in half. So we'll do that. And there we go. We got links. So I'm going to go ahead and link all this up. We're going to have a ton of it. I'll get it all done, and I'll count the links and let you know how we did. But we're going to be eating sausage probably till 2025. So I'll see you in a few. All right, I got them all turned into links. Had a couple of blowouts putting them in links because I had some of the casings too full. So this is what I ended up with. I'm going to put these in the fridge overnight, and that'll let the casings dry out. And then tomorrow I'll put some on the smoker, and we'll give it a test and see how they taste. So I'll see you tomorrow. Good afternoon, guys. It's the next day. I left the sausages in the refrigerator for about 18 hours, and man, they look amazing. The skins have dried out real nice. They actually look like they've plumped up a little bit. You can see all the pepper and the cheese and the jalapenos in there, and the color of the paprika and turmeric is really coming through on the skins. So I have the smoker turned up to 225 degrees. I didn't use any cure or anything on these, so I don't want to do a cold smoke. I want to cook them at 225 to 250, and I'm going to go for an internal temperature of 165 degrees, probably take 40 to 45 minutes, and we'll give these things a taste test. So we'll see you in a bit. We got the sausages off the smoker. I smoked them at 225 for an hour over oak, and they look really, really good. You can see all the spices through the casings and stuff, and they smell fantastic. I'm nervous and excited at the same time. This is my first attempt on these, so I'm going to slice into these and we'll see how they look. Oh, wow. Definitely not going to be dry, that's for sure. I like the smoke flavor. Not spicy at all. I would do more cayenne next time. I can taste a little bit of the cayenne in there. Really good flavor. Very, very juicy. And I'm not sure if that's a function of having too much fat in there. Very good. Ooh, there's the cayenne. Hello. Yeah, very good. So I'm super excited about it. I'm probably gonna end up putting these in a freezer bag to put them in the freezer. I'm afraid if I seal meal them while they're still raw, it might squish them. So I'll probably just put them in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer until I can cook them all up. I'll be doing another video soon. And until I do, make sure you give me a like and a subscribe down below. And until I do another video, watch me work, baby. Watch me work.